perfect people, but we have great hearts, good hearts. And my daddy taught me that no matter how you feel you know about yourself, you gangster, you a Mac, you a hustler, we always know how to go to that church house. We always know how to turn our hearts to the Lord, and we ask for forgiveness because we know we ain't perfect, because that's how we was taught. So we're going to have something in us that's going to have Lord in us. It's a seed that was planted in us by our elders. So no matter how far we go out there in the deep end, we could pull ourselves back to land. You know, that's critical to have it in your life. Because when you lose that lifeline and that life preserver, that's when you drown out here. So if you was never taught it, you got to learn it. Stop being proud of your ignorance. Go ahead and learn what you don't know. Find an example and let that example be who you learn from. But listen, I get back to saying we go to Hollywood. We move to Hollywood, coming from Linwood, you know, and here we are in the mid-'80s hitting Hollywood. You know, Hollywood was brand new when we got out there. You know, here I am coming from Linwood, which is the Black Inkwell, which was turning into a real gangbang heaven, or haven, better word. And so my moms didn't want us a part of that. She seen what Linwood was becoming, the block and everything that I'm from. My street is Hume Street. I'm from Hume Street and Imperial. That's real critical because a lot of people only talk about one side of Linwood, but they never talk about our side, when there's a lot of homies on our side, on the Imperial side. It's a lot of homies, a lot of reputable homies from my side. I got a lot of big homies. And a lot of people talk that talk, but they ain't been around my side that I grew up in, the folks that I party with and function with, my big homies who taught me. No, they ain't been around them, because a lot of the stuff, you know, that they talk about would never be spoken in front of folks that really love me and care for me, that grew up with me, that taught me. You know, I just can't see that. Ain't that much drugs in your system that ever just have you lose your mind to allow somebody else to come and throw smut or dirt on your family member and your folks who you raised and you taught. So if your mind is that clouded and you're not in your right mind to let an enemigo at that, or just these hater ass gangbangers, I get to that. It's a lot of hater gangbangers out here who never matured, who's really immature mentally and really grew up to be that same immature guy, and they really build a life around that, and they feel that they words and everything that they say is based in just everything good and gold because they said it. And it's like, nah, homie, if you ain't heard from your kids and them your kids, and you ain't heard from them in more than a year, and you ain't tried to go look for them, bro, it's not too much you can tell me being a part of the Orange Vest Gang. You know, we grew past the Orange Vest Gang. Y'all know who I'm talking about, you know. And we ain't sitting in front of that no more, talking and running our mouth about nothing and judging everybody else, when we got a whole family and kids and a life and stuff to raise and take care of and be responsible for. A lot of you cats is judging grown-ass men, you know, grown men that's really out here doing their part the best that they can with whatever cards given to them in this game, and y'all judging them and hating on them, especially you rappers. Especially a lot of you rappers who sitting up there comfortable in these comfortable environments, looking down on your own people, whether they black or brown or whatever color, just urban folks who's out here fighting this war, who's in this war, fighting this war, fighting these battles, homie, without you and your help. Ain't ask you for no bag or no handout or nothing, but we watching you living your life, your best life, and supporting your best life, and our kids are supporting your best life, and the best you could do is look down at the ground and shoot at the ground. Oh man, ain't they told you anything or taught you anything? Ask them cats you in the studio with that's supposed to been on the yard and line pushers and got all this good information about all these other folks, man. Yeah, okay, whatever. You shoot at the ground, it's gonna bounce back and hit you in the face. Stop shooting at your own people. The hater huddle up is a horrible huddle up. When a whole bunch of haters huddle up in that studio, and I'm just basing this off of entertainment because that's how I get down. They done destroyed my life with that hater huddle up. That's a real poisonous huddle up, because it'll never be about no other race but they own, and they only gonna huddle up to destroy something that they fear. And it's gonna always be a liar and a side guy, the bag holder, the blunt roller. He the one that's gonna come with all this old drama. He keep everybody in a disarray, because that guy right there want to get on. So he be damned if he come tell you something good about somebody outside they circles. See that? Because that might just pass his little bag. Oh my God, he ain't gonna know. So everybody is bad. Everybody is a horrible person. Everybody is a buster. Everybody is a mark to him. He gonna come feed you drama. He is not gonna come tell you nobody good. He ain't gonna tell nothing good. Nothing. Because he's trying to keep his position well placed. And those are the dudes who are destroying these guys we seeing going through all of this. It's the side guys. The guys, remember, they're saying this in these diss raps. You know, you got spies in your camp. You got, you know what I'm saying? It's those circles in. Hey, homie, we werewolves, not wolves. It's a difference. You know, I don't know if you know your real, history of the world or read any books past whatever. But if you really go study lore and, especially the eastern part of the world, you got to really go find some books on heaven and, a lot of the things that was going on up there, man. A lot of the stuff that they put in these movies come from real books and real stuff that these producers and directors loved and read as kids and found out about in college and these libraries and just was turned on to real history that was wrote way before us. And werewolves don't roam in circles. We don't roam in packs. We meet up when it's time to get popping, but we all solo. And we know everything going on with each other, no matter where we are on this world or in this universe or even in heaven or hell. When it's time to get popping, we all show up just like that. Those are werewolves, skin walkers or skin changers. Yeah. And they say, well, why they hate vampires? And I'm just going off a little bit to kind of, settle down. So y'all just bear with me. They say, why werewolves hate vampires? I say, well, they tell them the wrong story. I love garlic for a real reason. Damn bloodsucker. You feel me? But they both skin changes, and all that mean they can change their appearance. They can change their appearance into something else. That's what a skin changer mean. And most of those are heavenly, and they have different names. They came with different names. You know what they call them. But werewolves is not what you think, and they told you something different. Most of them will call them, I pronounced the word wrong, but cherubims. They sit at the feet of God. Those are gods. They call them God's mutts, but they sit at the throne of God. Those are his pets. Werewolves, yeah. So, of course, vampires gonna hate them. Now, let's get back to this whole other thing. Listen, man, listen. When we get to Hollywood, man, it was wild. It was wild. 85, 86, we get to Hollywood. It's crazy up there. Ain't too many brothers up there, It is a black gang up there. They was crippin'. So it was one up there. You feel me? But here we come, and here I come. So, when I got up there, got to school and all that, got into junior high school and everything, I'm dealing with, we was in the Virgil Street area, over there where they all meet. There was a certain area in the hills, up there off of First and Vermont. See, a lot of y'all ain't probably been up that way, but, or been around that area that's from LA. They haven't even been up that way, but it's a whole different world up there. Once you get to First and Vermont, it gets different. And that's where we moved to. So we right there in East Hollywood. See, the east side of Hollywood. So I went from the east side Landwood to east side Hollywood. See that? Wonderful. Beautiful, right? And so, it's wonderful up there, man. It's a few brothers up there. Some of them in, group homes. A lot of y'all don't know what that is, but that's when you in a youth offender, and you have to go to a home before you go home. So they send you to these group homes, and they have them up there in the hills to give them a better life, show them something better, I guess. So you had brothers going to high school from those group homes. So the high schools up there had a variety, but my high school, by the time I got to high school, man, I had already been a ditch king, homie. I ditched school so much because I was taught how to ditch, The Latinos homies up there was really giving me a lot of new education that we didn't know in Landwood. So, I'm learning about ditch parties and, man, just about everything that you could think of, You know, spin the bottle. I'm learning, you know, I'm 13 going on 14. So I'm right there at that point in the 80s, homie, when gang banging on all levels had went from the OG homies kind of all low riders to more of a new way. It was the new way here. And we was those new guys. It was that era, homie. Oh my God. It was horrible. A lot of deaths, a lot of people dying. You know, and like I said, here we are up in Hollywood. And it was just kind of getting popping up there as far as the Latino gangs. You know, a lot of the youngsters around me and in my junior high, you know, without saying who their names is, I never say their names, but became some of your greatest gang bang Latino leaders and Filipino gang leaders. You know, they were my classmates. We were all together there. And some of them I lived with. You know, it's crazy. I tell the story to very few, and I can't say exactly everything. But I could just tell you like this, man. I had homies up there, you know, Latino homies that I was meeting that could barely speak English. They had just came from the wars in El Salvador. So mind you, or I'm telling you, I'm mad. If you know LA or you know the history of Los Angeles, on the other side of First and Vermont, coming back inward, I guess you would call that east, you would get to MacArthur Park, Lafayette Park. Yeah. See, those are famous names, infamous names. So now let's go back to what I was saying. So in my area of Hollywood, East Hollywood, you know, I was meeting a lot of those that was coming from the wars in El Salvador right to Hollywood. They could barely speak English. And I was hella cool with them, you know, teach them my lingo, which is a hood lingo. So, you know, they learning my lingo, you know, and you know what a hood lingo is. So they were the first ones to really be oriented to what you hear now. Different races saying, you know, the N word and so forth. So they were the first ones to hear it and pick it up and say it because of me. And I don't want to put that on myself, but I was one of the very first ones in the 80s around because it was so natural and they didn't know English. So they're learning English from me. I don't know now if that was a great thing, but you know, and it's crazy because if you know anything about history, and them that was coming from the wars, the youngsters, they were wearing heavy metal shirts, Metallica shirts with spiky hair, man. And those was the years of the Aquanet years. And I'm only starting there. I'm not going to talk about my youth in Linwood yet. I'll go back and talk about